something that I'm attracted to is a strong person who is like resilient, and strength for me means like being resilient, being like brave and like courageous enough to open up despite, like, for example, what we talked, like the social and societal limitations of how you should behave and what's expected of you and what's stigmatized.
All right. All right. What does it mean to be a good man? What does it mean to be a man? Does being a good man mean that you're a weak man? Does being the kind of man who's attractive to women mean that you're now not a good man? What is a nice guy? What is a nice guy in relation to the whole spectrum of masculinity? What the freak does it all mean? I personally, inherently at my core, am a good man, so to speak. I have a heart. Like, I am the kind of guy who has genuine friendships with women. I do that. I do. I've done that for my whole life. Throughout my whole journey in this whole thing, it's been like, how do I become attractive to women without removing that kind of core, heart-based element of who I am as a person? That's something I've had. But you know another thing I've had as well? I've always had a dark side. I've always had that. And I've always had a side of me that it's like, you don't want to fuck with this side of Ciaran. You really don't. And the funny thing is that core part of my journey has been integrating that part of myself as well. You want to know the truth? The truth of it is like this. I'll just be really honest. I come across way more friendly in these videos than I really am. What does that mean? Actually, not friendly, like soft. I do. And the reason why I do that is because for my whole life, I've had this issue of being the black gangster who's going to be perceived as like busting a cap in your ass and gunning you down. I've had that issue and I've had that fear. And because I've had that issue and I've had that fear, I cultivated like this image to downplay the darker sides of my personality, because I don't want what is the darker sides of my personality to then make people perceive me to be this negative black stereotype. The truth is, that was actually a part of me. Something that happened to me time upon time upon time again when I was growing up was that, yeah, I got like a genuine nice guy side to me, do. But I had the genuine nice guy side to me. And then I was terrified of being like the black stereotype. Like terrified. The dangerous black man is going to do this and the dangerous black man is going to do that. So then I would just nullify all of that, all of it. I've gotten better as time goes by. I have. But when I was younger, I nullified all of it. And I acted like the softest man on earth. The absolute softest man on earth. And then guess what would happen? People would disrespect me because people would think, well, Ciaran's clearly a soft person. I mean, like, look at him. Look at the way he's acting. This is clearly who the hell this person is. Isn't that true? So anyway, what's a man? What's a good man? Well, Jordan Peterson said it best. Like, this is the best explanation I've heard on this topic. He goes,
a harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very, very dangerous man who has that under voluntary control.
A good man is not a man who's harmless. A good man is a man who's capable of incredible amounts of harm. He has a real demon, but he keeps his demon in check. That's like, that resonated with me to a core, because the demon I have allows me to really get stuff done. It does. It's the reason why I refuse to give up on anything. It's the reason why I'm in the gym constantly. It's the thing that women go crazy for in the bedroom, like that demon, they love that guy. It's the thing that will keep my wife and daughter safe if anybody ever tries to attack us. Because that, without that, like, what kind of man are you? Men don't exist, it's like men perform. Women exist, men don't, men perform. And if you can't do what needs to be done when the chips are down, then you're not really a man, you know? So what is a man? I say the ability to protect, the ability to provide, and the ability to actually make an impact on the world. But it's so tough to do. It's tough to do, but it's what you actually need to do. And You say we speak about being a nice guy. Now here's the thing. When we think about being a nice guy, most guys in this scene are recovering nice guys. We basically were shy, insecure, nervous, and tried to cover up for that by being whatever people wanted us to be and people pleasing. You're not you, you're not authentic, you're being a bit fake and a bit phony, and you have no steel and you have no backbone, and then this just kind of comes out, and as a result people don't want to get to know you. And then you think, okay, well, this is the stuff that's going to make people reject me. So as a result, I've got to get away from all of that. Anything that's associated with having a heart, anything, that makes you a terrible person. There's some men in our Telegram groups, we got Telegram groups and whatnot. And there's a couple members who've been in there in the past who've said things like, this is beta male game. And they're saying that because I'm messaging a woman and I literally haven't said to the woman, hey bitch, I'm gonna stick my dick in your mouth and fuck you till you squirt. I'm building comfort with the woman. I'm getting to know her. I'm easing into it. But they have this belief that anything which has any kind of warmth or emotion, there's no inherent masculinity there. You see, here's the thing when we speak about what it means to be a man. So it's because you are engaging in a warm conversation with a woman, that doesn't mean that when the chips are down, you won't fight to defend her. It doesn't mean that when you guys get ready in the bedroom or get busy in the bedroom, you're not going to pin her down and give her some serious action. It doesn't mean that at all. It doesn't mean any of that. It means you're currently having a warm conversation. But people are more than one thing. We as people assume that it's like polar opposites. So you're either the light side of the force or the dark side of the force. And of course the light side is, hey, I'm a nice guy. Hello, look at me. I'm a nice guy. Yuck, yuck, yuck. And then the dark side is, yo, bruv, I'm dark, you get me? I'm dark and do not fuck with me because if you do, some real shit's gonna happen. You understand that? And but people have more than one facet to their personality. It's what's being a man? Okay, being a man is being who you are. Looking after the people around you, yes, but also having the authenticity or the vulnerability or the courage to be you. I mean, I have heard some people say this. I've heard women say this, that vulnerability is sexy. What's a strong man?
For me, something that I'm attracted to is a strong person who is resilient, and strength for me means being resilient, being brave and courageous enough to open up despite for example what we talked, the social and societal limitations of how you should behave and what's expected of you and what's stigmatized. Because in the end of the day, I find it very impressive if someone has room to be confident enough to say yes, maybe as a man it's looked down upon if I would cry, for example, in a situation, or show emotion, or open up, or ask someone for help, or talk about my day, what bothered me. But I don't care. I'm confident enough to say maybe it's uncomfortable, but I'm willing to move past that.
There is a degree of truth in that. There actually is. There is. So it's in this whole scene, we're basically taught that if you cry in front of a woman, that's a terrible thing. And yeah, I do agree, you shouldn't really be crying in front of women. But having the courage to own up to something that you don't feel secure about is actually very powerful. Because it's kind of like this. So some woman does something and you don't like it, right? Boom. So you don't like the thing that she does. You can lash out at it in anger and I don't like that you did that. How did you do that? I don't like that you did that. Okay, that's a bit aggressive. I mean, you're kind of being butthurt, as they call it, whatever. Or you could be I don't care at all. That doesn't bother me in the least. Which is what everybody in this scene will tell you to do. To be I don't care in the least. That doesn't bother me. To act like it was just nothing and it's literally water off a duck's back. You could also be you know what? I don't like that you did this and it made me feel like this. And you're not shivering and crying in a corner. You're not twitching on the spot, but you're owning who you are and you're owning your truth. And there's a lot of power to being able to do that. But then here's the thing. So it's like, where are these lines though? At what point does owning your truth become twitching and spasming on the floor? You know? I'm not going to claim to have these answers completely, because these are lines that I try and find for myself day by day. But essentially, I'm aware that being in touch with my emotions and what's going on, while also not being owned by my emotions too, is very powerful. Meditation is really good for that, by the way. It really is. So, let's say I hold a gun to your head. I do that, you feel fear, right? You're scared, boom. You probably start twitching and you start panicking, all of this stuff. But the thing is this, there's a couple things going on. There's me holding the gun to your head, and then there's everything you think as a result of me holding the gun to your head. And you don't have to think those things. You can have me hold the gun to your head, and you can feel the fear associated with that, but you cannot freak out as a result. You don't have to have that kind of reaction to the thing. And actually, now I think about it, this is where like the lack of masculinity kind of comes from, which is that when you're so reactive and so controlled by your emotions that you can't get things done because your emotions control you. Andrew Tate said this out. He wakes up every morning and he does what he needs to do regardless of whether or not he feels like it, and that his feelings have no bearing on what he does that day. He has to do what he has to do, and he does not care how he feels. Right? That's a perfect way of putting it. I don't really want to be here right now doing this video. I'm in the middle of Brazil. I could be on the beach, but you know what? I need to do it because I got goals to achieve. You know, it's just the way shit goes. And that's basically it. So, what do you do? Do you let your feelings get in the way of what you actually know you need to do? Or do you let what you need to do dictate your actions irrespective of how you feel? Because if it's the second one, you're great. And if it's the first one, you're not. That is what it means to be a man, in my humble opinion. But you know, who the heck am I? I'm just Ciaran from Birmingham, wearing an absolutely sexerific Michael Jordan top and an absolutely badass cap. Thank you, good day. Get my book, Meet and Keep Your Dream Women. GameGlobal.net. We have a bunch of Telegram groups for you to join, socialize, get to know, find wingmen in your area, etc. Take care, see you later, and goodbye.